Okay, now comes the interesting part. The interesting part is to hear what you have to say, and this coffee is now cold. Can I get some hot coffee? Would jihad be justified on the liberation of Kashmir? The Prophet ﷺ spent 13 years in Mecca, oppressed, with no jihad. The only time he waged war was when he reached the Medina and they attacked him. Only then did Allah give permission. أُذِنَ لِلَّذِينَ يُقَاتَلُونَ بِأَنَّهُمْ ظُلِمُوا. Allah now give permission for them to fight. And you cannot wage war. Kashmir cannot wage war with the Indian army. Kashmir will be destroyed in minutes. India is a nuclear power. So how are you going to wage war? You have to wait for the Great War. It is only after the Great War that Medina will no longer be kharab. At this time Medina is kharab. You know what I'm talking about? Umran Bayt al-Maqdis, kharabu Yatrib. That when Jerusalem is center stage in the world, Medina will be in forlorn desolation. Kharabu Yatrib, Khuruj al-Malhama. The next step, the next thing to occur will be the Great War, which is now coming. Millions will die. The Jews want the war because they believe that both sides will destroy each other. And after the Malhama, Israel will rule the world. But that's not going to happen. After the Khuruj al-Malhama, only then will the world of Islam rise, not before. Fathul Constantinia. And the Prophet ﷺ praised the army. And he praised the commander. So the world of Islam is going to rise up after the Great War, not before. Some historians say that Islam spread by the point of the sword. That was not Islam in the Ottoman. That was bogus Islam, bogus jihad. And it was not Islam with the Mughal Empire. It was a bogus jihad. And in Syria, of course, the schoolboy was also waging a bogus jihad, but he's very angry with me. Oh yes, he's very angry with me because I said Santa Claus gave him all the US dollars, and Santa Claus gave him all the state-of-the-art weapons, and Santa Claus gave him all the visas and in through Turkey for him to go and wage a Yankee jihad. Who would need to apologize to the Hindus on behalf of the Mughals? Who should apologize to the Christians on behalf of the Ottoman Empire? I did it. One man. I did it. I went to Moscow, State University of Moscow. I went twice to Belgrade, University of Belgrade, and I spoke. I delivered public lectures, and I apologized. And when I pointed out to them that what the Ottomans did was in conflict with the Quran, and this is what we'll do when we conquer Constantinople, they were crying. And this change is taking place now in the Orthodox Christian world. It is not complete as yet, but the change is taking place. Alhamdulillah. I was blessed by Allah to initiate it. And now, alhamdulillah, the others are coming forward to do it. It takes one man to stand up, that's all. The same thing now has to be done with the Hindu world. Next question. What does ISIS want to achieve? ISIS was created by Dajjal to serve Dajjal. If ISIS had succeeded, then Russia would have lost a military base in Syria, and the Orthodox Christians of Syria would have been slaughtered. And that would have put an end to any possibility of a Muslim Orthodox Christian friendship and alliance. Next question. No more questions? Yeah.
Benefit from this conflict?
What did you say?
Who is benefiting from
Who is benefiting from?
Kashmir's conflict?
Who is benefiting from the Kashmir problem? There are two kinds of Hindus. There are those Hindus who wept when Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated, because they recognized him as a great leader. And they gave him the highest title of all. No Hindu has gotten this title, Mahatma. But there are other Hindus who celebrated when he was killed. And these are the ones who are now benefiting, yes, from what is happening in Kashmir. Why? I don't understand this question, sorry. Any more questions? Yes?
Mention about Vedas. Vedas. Can you elaborate the truth effect of Vedas?
What does the Veda say about? About the truth. There was a very famous Hindu philosopher and politician and diplomat. His name was Ram Mohan Roy, and he knew the Arabic language. And he had close ties with the Mughal rulers of India. And he studied the Quran, and then he went and studied the Vedas. And he found in the Vedas that there was one supreme God. He then proceeded to establish a reform movement in Hinduism. He called it the Brahmo Samaj movement. And from that movement emerged Rabindranath Tagore, who is the father of the illustrious Rabindranath Tagore, who became the Nobel Prize for Literature, and who wrote Gitanjali. It is, of course, something painful for me that Ram Mohan Roy maintained this kind of relationship with the Mughal rulers over India, maybe for purposes of expediency, but at least in this much he was correct, that he was able to go to the Vedas and locate one God. And the Brahmo Samaj movement made a tremendous impact upon India. And then came another reform movement called the Arya Samaj. And the Arya Samaj spread very far and wide. And the Arya Samaj also insisted on one God in Hinduism. The difference between the two is that Brahmo Samaj was not hostile to Islam, but the Arya Samaj was hostile to Islam. So yes, there is evidence of one God in the Hindu scriptures. Any more questions? No more? So I want to thank you and thank,
You mentioned the security countries, US, France, don't want to lose Pakistan to China, Russia.
no, to Russia.
To Russia. And China, I guess.
No, Pakistan has already had a relationship with China 50 years now.
So if they don't want to lose Pakistan, surely they should be more forthcoming in supporting the Kashmiris and not talking gun first war.
This is the surprise that the Indian government is now received. The government of India is surprised. Why has the United States and Britain and France supported the resolution in the Security Council for consultations on the subject, even though it's behind closed doors? This has been a bitter surprise for the Indian government. Okay? I am offering an analysis, and I can be wrong. I can be wrong. Whenever Britain and France and the United States are joined together, I know Shaitan is at work. And I believe this is why they're now acting in the way that they're acting. They are opposing, the West is showing some disapproval of the conduct of the Indian government in revoking the status of the Kashmiris. Okay? And why are they doing that? My analysis is that they want to keep Pakistan in the Western camp. And so there might be some very surprising things coming out of the Security Council in the future, which will be something very distasteful for the Indian government. Yeah? The second possibility is that they're setting up India and Pakistan for war. They want to create a situation where Mr. Trump knew what would be the result if he said, I would like to mediate. That's what he said to Imran Khan, that I am prepared to mediate. When he uttered these words, he knew what would be the impact on India. And the Indians then moved swiftly to revoke Pakistan, Kashmir status, okay? So they may be doing the same thing now to try to fan the flames that the Indian government might speed up its preparations for war. Any more questions? Yeah?
What do you think the consequences are for the Muslim world if there's a nuclear war between Pakistan and India?
The question is, what do I think will be the consequences for the world of Islam of nuclear war between India and Pakistan? I don't want to reveal everything. I prefer to keep something secret at this time. Okay? Let them guess. I want to recognize, however, that my knowledge, I did not study the subject sufficiently. My study of the subject was inadequate, like my study of the Soviet Union. I was wrong. My understanding of Mao Zedong and Communist China, I was wrong. I now realize I was wrong. Okay? This is not the time for me to explain my error. But on the subject of nuclear war between India and Pakistan, I also now recognize that my previous thinking was wrong, but I don't want to say anything more. Leave that. Let them guess. Any more questions? Okay, thank you. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.